like, I mean, we're talking about a certain type of guy here, that they don't interact with women on a daily basis much, so they don't realize that these women are wearing makeup and they're wearing a normal amount, and then they think that that's the natural look, and then so when they see a woman who applies a lot of makeup, they see that as a woman applying makeup normally. Like, that's what your everyday woman does when she goes to work on a day. It's quite contentious. So if women wear makeup on their dating profiles, does that mean that it's okay for men to lie about their height or their income on their dating profiles?
I don't think makeup is lying.
Yeah.
It's an enhancement.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there was a guy in India once who tried to sue his wife because the morning after their wedding was the first time he ever saw her without makeup. And like, some people are magicians with makeup.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't consider it lying. Like would men consider a padded bra a lie?
Yeah.
And also, height is not something that you can do anything about, whereas like you can always put on makeup.
You could put steps in your shoe.
That's true. That's true. Although, yeah, I don't consider makeup lying. I think it's an enhancement.
Well, I think that's where the question, the interesting part of the question lies, is because depending on who you ask, you're going to get a very different answer. Like, if you ask a like fucktard, misogynistic cunt, like, I don't know, Andrew Tate or someone, or like one of those Fresh and Fit podcast people, they're probably like, yeah, bro, do what you can.
Those guys are the worst. Those guys. Yeah. Oh, side note, every one of their clips I have seen, women will get up and leave because they're tired of being offended, and then the guys will spend the next like hour complaining about how emotional women are, while they're in the throes of a hissy fit. They're not seeing the irony of that. But proceed. Yes.
Yeah, and it's just and then I think that where the real interesting answer is that, like, what would you classify as makeup? And then, like you say, where is that line drawn? Like, so, you know, if you include things like a padded bra or plastic surgery and all those sort of things.
High heels, if a woman's wearing high heels.
Yeah. And the other thing is, like, okay, lying about your income, but how much? Are you talking about $5,000? Or are you talking about $100,000? Lying about your height. You know, you talk about an inch, or you talk about 5 inches.
Yeah, and like, by the time you realize that a woman's face doesn't look like that, like, it's not like women who wear makeup hide it. What kills me though is when men see pictures of women who are wearing, who say, like, look how natural her face is, look at her without makeup. Meanwhile, she's wearing a ridiculous amount of makeup.
Yeah.
Makeup that doesn't look like makeup requires more makeup than makeup that looks like makeup.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a shit ton of makeup to look like your skin is flawless. So men don't even know what women look like without makeup. And if you're dating a woman, if she wears makeup as part of her regular routine, by the time you see her without makeup, you should be emotionally invested enough to not be so shallow that you'd be like, oh, you do have bags under your eyes and freckles and crow's feet.
That's what everybody looks like. I think that like, cause I don't, like you say, I don't consider makeup lying because again, that is what is lying, you know. And then, like, if I said to everybody, oh, I earn £100,000 a year, and I made a Tinder profile saying that, like, that would be a blatant lie in so many ways. And then but then, like, a bit of makeup is something you can see as well. Like, you can see makeup's been applied, whereas you can't see a paycheck, you know?
Yeah, and in a Tinder profile, if someone lies about their height, I mean, you won't be able to really see that in the profile, but
yeah, exactly.
It's different than putting on makeup because you, like you said, you can see the makeup. So it's not, I didn't dupe you into believing that my eyes have gold on the lids, right? Like, if you look at somebody and say, like, oh, that's a natural face. Yeah. You're just an idiot.
And I think that is a lot of the issue, is that, like, these guys don't realize, because they don't interact. Like, I mean, we're talking about a certain type of guy here, that they don't interact with women on a daily basis much, so they don't realize that these women are wearing makeup and they're wearing a normal amount, and then they think that that's the natural look, and then so when they see a woman who applies a lot of makeup, then they see that as a woman applying makeup normally. Like that's what your everyday woman does when she goes to work on a day.
Yeah.
You know?
And like, I guess because some of these men, like when you see, let me take a step back. A lot of the makeup influencers who have developed a very, very large following have very dramatic before and after photos, right? Like there's a couple in particular who, one of them, she lost all of her teeth during pregnancy. So she will show herself, before with her no teeth in and her normal everyday woman face, right? With dark spots and patches and red spots. And then when she puts her makeup on and she puts her teeth in and she does her hair all up, it looks like a completely different person. But she's also done her hair, put on her makeup, but it's not.
Yeah.
You can still see in the before and after that it's the same person. I mean, I said looks like a different person, but you can still see that it's the same person. So it's not like it's that far of an extension of the imagination to understand that somebody wouldn't look exactly the same without their makeup as they would with. And if you think that's lying, then why, like, if that's a deal breaker for some men, then you were never really wanting to get to know that person as a person. You were just looking at them aesthetically and wanted someone to hang off of your 5'10" arm. You said you were 6'2".
Yeah. And then you can dupe that you're earning 250 grand a year, but you're on like 20K.
It's comma placement.
Yeah. And I personally prefer as little makeup as possible. Like, but that's my personal preference, and I don't know where it comes from, and I think it might be an autistic thing. I'm not sure, because I like to see the micro expressions. I like to be able to see like the face creases and the smiles and all that stuff, because
but you still see that. Like makeup doesn't hide. Like as much makeup as I put on, if I smile, you're still going to see the wrinkles in my eyes, right? Makeup isn't going to hide that. It's just going to smooth it out and even it out.
Yeah, but I think that's the difference in like the amount of makeup that we're both thinking of right now.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I know somebody that would spend like an hour putting makeup on before going to work every morning, and like to me that's like it's too much, because it's too much of an investment of your time. I mean, I'm thinking super autistically, and like this is just me being practical. Like, dude, you're spending an hour a day, 5 days a week putting this makeup. But if
she enjoys it, then it's
I know.
It's a valuable investment in her time, right? It's like couples who fight about money because one of them takes vacations and one of them wants to get facials, right? It's like you both have different priorities. If someone enjoys putting on makeup, then that's not a wasted hour. That's an hour of them honing their craft and developing different techniques and trying out different things. It's like a hobby.
This is kind of what I'm saying, right? Like this is my personal perspective as how I view the world and how I see it, and struggling with that, how other people have different motivations and ideas of what they want to do. And so ultimately this idea of like, are women lying if they're wearing makeup, ultimately comes down to, but why are they wearing the makeup? Right? So why do you think it's lying? Not you personally, obviously. Why do you think it's lying? Why does it bother you so much? And then, but why do you think they're doing it? Right?
I think a lot of the men who would say that type of thing, who would think it's lying, are also the same kind of men who, think women put on makeup for men when most women put on makeup for themselves because they enjoy it, and who would also judge a woman who wasn't wearing makeup.
Yeah, totally.
Right? Like there's such hypocritical cunts because like honestly, makeup is fun to play with. It's fun to do. I don't do it every day because just like, I mean, I'm not autistic, but I lack the patience to do it every day, because then if you put it on, you also got to take it off. It's the reason I don't wear contact lenses, because I'll have no problem putting them in, but I don't want to take them out.
Yeah.
So I just don't bother. Also, you have to clean your makeup brushes. That's a pain in the ass. Like but makeup is fun. One day when I first started working from home, I was on a call and I had a mirror beside me, because at the time my like office was also where I would like do my makeup and stuff. And so I could see myself in the mirror, and I don't know why, but I was like, I wonder what I would look like with blue eyebrows. And then 5 minutes later, I knew the answer to that question. So, it's fun. It's fun.
Well, yeah, no, I like the creative playing side of it. Like, you know, 'cause we've all done that in various ways growing up. You know, I'm not saying I put makeup on when I was a kid, but I'm just saying that like kids
I
do
know a
weird
lot of
shit.
men who wear makeup.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know a lot of men put on makeup to like to again hide their like dark circles under their eyes or to smooth their
mm,
complexions out. There's lots of
mm,
application for makeup.
yeah. And I think there's like a philosophical side of it to me as well. Is that like I want to see the life that that person has led and is currently leading, and then you see that in the face. Like the face bears our years, and you can tell a lot through people from the way that their face is. Um, and like, you know, this is why I love things like scars and, you know, issues with our bodies, because they're so interesting. Like
Character.
yeah, and every single scar or so-called deformity or unusual part about your body that you might hate about yourself, like it's all a fucking story, and it's about how you got to be who you are now. And then that's why, like, you know, like I understand the whole idea of makeup for other people. I understand societally why it exists and all these other things. Like I'm not against it. I just like it when it's not there and I see the person who they are without it. Like it's almost like a privilege in a way to have somebody be vulnerable like that in front of you, I think. Like if it's somebody that you're not that you're either just getting to know and you're becoming either intimate with or friendly with or whatever way it is, but the only people often that see them like that are their closest loved ones. And so to have that vulnerability, like to not have the makeup and all the other, I'm talking about both genders here, that when you don't have all that other accoutrement, that it's like a sign of vulnerability of getting to know somebody, I think. But
It's a good point. And I think I think one of the things that I really like about I guess TikTok and the social media is that more and more we're seeing people without all of that and they're
yeah,
just being authentically themselves, where historically, like until social media, all the
mm,
media we consumed was prepared and
yeah,
curated media, and everybody we saw was fully made up, right? So like
mm,
young people seeing that were thinking, oh, that's what, you know, we didn't know when I was younger that all the pictures we saw in magazines were photoshopped. We didn't know
yeah,
that until we did. And then it was like, you fucking assholes, you've been lying to me and stuff.
yeah,
Like here, this whole like generations of young men and women are trying to subscribe to this ideal and create this ideal when that person that you're paying doesn't even look like that. You
yeah.
Photoshop the shit. And it's so nice to see on social media men and women just being themselves, no makeup, crust on their eye,
Mm,
whatever, not being afraid to show that they've lost their teeth, they're losing their hair, they have
mm,
scars, they have all these different things that once upon a time we were made to feel ashamed of.
yeah,
Because every makeup ad is about like fixing. Originally, it was like fixing your flaws and cover your gray hair and do all these
yeah,
things. Where now it's like, let's embrace what we look like. Because when people start to get rid of those perceived flaws, they
mm,
just end up looking like everybody else.
yeah,
And
exactly.
you can't, it's like when Jennifer Grey, like, I don't mean to beat up on Jennifer Grey, but like
Mhm,
when she was in her movies when she was younger, right? Like Dirty Dancing and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. She had that quintessentially Jennifer Grey look, and she was a beautiful woman. And then she kind of left the limelight. And when she came back, she'd had a rhinoplasty. She had her nose done, and then she didn't look like herself anymore. She
mm,
looked like every other nose. It was like
yeah,
you're picking it out of a catalog. It's not yours, right? Embrace it.
mm,
And like I know she got a lot of shit for it. And if she did it and it made her feel better afterwards, then I don't want to talk shit about it either, because it could have been something that had been bothering her. And I also have no qualms about people fixing things that bother them if they're fixing it for the right reason, right? If you're
yeah,
not thinking like, oh, once I fix my nose, my entire life is going to change. It's like after I had lost weight,
mm,
I knew that all the things that were wrong before were still going to be wrong later. They would just be
mm,
wrong in a smaller body. Where a lot of people make it into this bigger once I lose this weight, or
mm,
once I get that nose job, or once I get that tummy tuck, my whole life's going to change. And it's like,
yeah,
no, it's not, because you're still going to the same job, sleeping in the same bed, wearing the
yeah.
same clothes, dealing with the same shit. You're just, it's
Well,
one fewer issue that you need, perceived issue that you have.
I think that's the thing with a lot of this plastic surgery stuff and a lot of healthcare issues, is that there's too much enablement now, instant enablement, like, and it's not they don't do their due diligence in healthcare anymore to help you make the right decision at the right time for you. So like my immediate concern with things like Jennifer Grey's rhinoplasty would be but did they help her get to that decision in the right way? So that she is aware that, because when people are in distress and when they're confused about all these things, they clutch at straws and think that these things are the ultimate answer and it's going to be the silver bullet, it's going to fix everything. But like you said, it never fucking happens that way.
And I don't know that we do enough, like along that point of it's either one extreme or the other. You've got people who are like, yeah, you should totally do it because you need to take care of you and you need to do what makes you feel good. And they don't question, why is that going to make you feel better? What do you think it's going to accomplish? And then on the other side is people who are like dismissive and be like, no, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, you don't need to change anything. But if it is actually something that's bothering them mentally, like
exactly,
there's not enough middle of the road. Let's talk about your motivations for why you want to do this. Like, let's think this through. Just answer the question of why.